Yo, what is up guys? It's Brendan. Today we're going to continue on with our tutorial on 2D arrays. Yeah, we're going to get right into it. So we're going to learn how to loop through these arrays, because when there are arrays, there is looping involved, because you never ever want to type out like all 25 elements of this. And more realistically, in games, you might have 2D arrays that are much larger than just 25 elements. If you're making a platformer, which is the most applicable use I can think of, where how that works is you have tiles that are a specific size, and there might be like 100 tiles on a length, something crazy like that, maybe even more. So you never ever just want to type out each individual element. So let's learn more about for loops. So I'm not going to actually teach you any new syntax today, but I'm just going to kind of teach you a cute little method. Yeah, it's pretty cute. I think it's adorable actually. So if you just make a normal for loop, in a is equal to 0, I'll just do a is less than, this might be a little new to you guys. So to get the size of the first part of your array, type the name of your array. And remember before we went dot length? Well, you can do that. You can do dot, maybe, yeah. But what we're going to do is actually, we're just going to go array and then a dot length. And what this is going to do is it's going to give us the length at that point in the element, which it's just a square array, so nothing tricky, but it's going to give you the length. Obviously, you could just do less than 5, but why do that when you can type even more code? There's really no reason, honestly. So then just go a++, and okay. So we have, oops, I am so out of it. Man, I always mess things up. Array int is what I meant to type, sorry. Okay, so we have one for loop, but that's great. So let's go array int a. Oh no, well now what do we type? We can type a, but then we'd only be accessing a fifth of our actual elements, because well, we can only access 1 per row then, and that's not what we want at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another for loop within this for loop. Wow, so let's just create int b, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do b is less than array int dot length, and actually a little mess up here. Actually, you might want to just do this array int, then go a dot length, and mess that up. Nope. Okay, and then b++. So let me explain this real quick here. So what's gonna go on here is it's gonna create this for loop, and we're gonna remember it's gonna start at 0 and end up going all the way, incrementing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'll end up running 5 times. Nothing new there. But what happens when it actually runs? So on the first run, when a is equal to 0, it's gonna go in here and it's gonna create this for loop with b, and it's gonna set b equal to 0. And I'll explain this array list length in a sec for both of these, but it's gonna go in here and it's gonna create a for loop for b is equal to 0. So what we can do is we can set something to like array int a b is equal to, just go a plus b. So what this is going to do is each time we there's a loop of a, so we have this loop of an a is equal to 0, it's going to run it for b is equal to 1, b is equal to 0, b is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, 3, and 4. So we'll end up being able to access all 5 elements at a is equal to 0. Okay, then it's going to cut out of this for loop, it's going to be done, and then it's going to end up back in this for loop, and then a is going to be 1. And then this for loop is going to get created again, and it's going to call 1, a is equal to 1, so 1 will go in here, and then it'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 for b again. So this for loop right here is going to end up being created 5 times. So that's how it works. So it's going to be able to essentially iterate through every single element. And now for this, I even messed that up myself. To be honest, like if I say this, if there's a hardcore programmer watching my video, they're gonna get mad at me. It doesn't really matter, but in terms of practice, what you can do is this is going to get the length of just this part, let me highlight something, right, this part, it's going to get how many elements are in there. And then this right here is going to get the length of here, how many are in here. That's the only difference between those two pieces of code. It gets this length and this length. There's really no reason to stagger that length. I mean, or well, yeah, actually, yeah, there is if you didn't want to have a square array. So there's a great reason to stagger that length. So I guess it is important to know, but it's not a big deal. So just try to remember the first one, you get the length of the array as a whole, and the second one, you get it as the length as not as the second part. But the important thing to know is just to make sure you pair up the variables right. So if you're getting the length initially, you're going to want to have that right there in the first element, and then if you're getting it of the second part, the length of the second element, you're going to want to make sure you put that variable in the second square bracket. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so we have all this. Now what we can do is, let me see. Let's print out all of the elements in our array. So let me. It's not efficient, but let me just copy and paste this again, just to kind of separate the two tasks at hand. We will create another nested for loop, and we'll just go C and D. Oops, I gotta change all of these. All right, C and C. And, okay, I'm not going to say all these letters. Okay. Alright. Alright, I messed this one up. It probably would have just been easier for me to type it out. Oh, well. Okay. Okay, now let's print all of these out. So we'll just go system.out.print, and in here we will print out array int, and we will go C, D, right there. And then what we'll do is in between each call of the for loop, what we'll do is we'll print out a new line. So just go like that, and we'll get a new line there, and so our code's going to look all nice and pretty. So let's run this. Let's see what we get. We got kind of get a little interesting output. So we get our 5x5 array, and you can see that we end up getting some interesting kind of pattern of sums there. It's just kind of how it works with the addition of the index numbers, but you can see that that works well. And let me just change the size of these. So if we went like 7 and then 12, let's see what we get for output. If we run this, we see we get kind of another fancy wave of output here. We get all of the addition here. So that's just kind of a quick summary of how all of this works. Pretty much you can use these 2D arrays, especially in platformer games and other sorts of elements with or games with maps, or anything you think you might need a static 2D map or array. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you liked it, maybe cop me a like or subscribe to me, visit my website, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.